G'day, g'day, g'day. Mathematical KM here. Remember their initials, not a title. Keith Malumbi. Not a chess video this time. Branching out. Went and saw Tron Ares tonight, and I felt the need to make a video about the top 6 cowboys swimming a river and coming out in dry shirt with dry hair and looking schmick. What are the top 6 problems with Tron Ares? Okay, so away we go. Number 1, get that away, is Tron must be hanging out with Mad Max. That is, the main character, Tron, along with the main character, Max. Not in his own movie. That was a cheap shot, perhaps, but there you go. Tron is not in Tron Ares. Okay, so let's go to our second point. Ares uses Flynn's 1980s lab at one point to... Oh, before I go any further, this movie, Tron not being in it, was that a spoiler? Don't go into it looking to expect to see Tron. But there's going to be a lot of spoilers as we go through these top 6 problems with the movie. Okay, so second one. Let's just go through a few bits here. Flynn's 1980s lab's got a laser in it that Ares uses to pop back out into the real world at one point in the movie. Flynn went in and out of the grid a couple of times. Ended up in by the look of it. But so there's a laser in the 1980s lab that'll let you go in and out of the grid. Encom's got a laser in their HQ skyscraper that in the movie Ares uses to go in. Dillinger Systems got the industrial scale lasers that let their people and programs go in and out. For the demo, for the military industrial complex and the backers, they had the stuff coming out. At one point, I think they use it, well, they definitely used to send Julian Dillinger in, and maybe Eve went in on that one, but no. But they've got big time lasers for stuff into and out of the grid. So you've got the 80s lab, you've got the HQ skyscraper for Encom. Julian Dillinger sent some people out with a portable one to effectively kidnap Eve from a helicopter into the grid. So they're everywhere. You get one free with a Big Mac. Now, from the 1980s, we've got this way of going into the computer land and being pretty schmick. Question nobody's asked, and we've seen the photos and the video of a very sad Eve and friends and family watching Tess, her sister, slowly die a painful death of a terminal illness. Why exactly did she watch her sister slowly die without offering digital solution? I mean, my God, that technology alone would be world changing. It's fully explored in the Upload TV series on Amazon. They mostly go, I mean, people have day visitors in the Upload show as well, but it's mostly if they grab you after you die into the grid. So watching somebody slowly die of a painful cancer, and you've had this thing from the 1980s that would let you just let her pop in, still be the same person, and live in the internet. I don't know. Maybe she would have chosen not to, but it's not like... It's just not considered. They're using the in and out for tactical reasons and kidnapping people, but it never occurred to anybody that the slowly dying sister... There you go. So that's my second point. Okay, the third point. The military-industrial complex saw the demo at the start, and they would not care about a 29-minute... it's actually put to Julian Dillinger, your company's going to go broke, mate, because the military's not going to want soldiers that only last for 29 minutes, an infinite number of them, mind, who could be sent, okay, folks, over the top, infinity of them, just go. Not to mention fighter bombers, paranoid ones, whatever you want. They only last 29 minutes. They only get to fly out over the line to do their attack job, and then they dissipate. Of course, you can print a brand new one while that one's out there flying. So why weren't the backers falling all over themselves to shut up and take my money? That's what it would have been for Dillinger Corp there. And that's the third one. Okay, the fourth point, and this is really demonstrated by the second half of the film, where a worker who's had a bad day in 3D prints a few things, including Athena, to attack a city, and it just chops up all the fighter pilots and fighters and anything. It just walks all over our current modern technology. Why? Because all the stuff that's 3D printed works in the real world the way it works in computer world. So, gee whiz, I've played enough Star Wars games. Does that mean that if I print me up a Dillinger laser version of the Millennium Falcon, that I can hit hyperdrive and get some... Yeah, I mean, sure, without the permanent stuff, you'd want to find another planet within 29 minutes, but you get the point. It'd certainly get you around the solar system. The Expanse as a TV show, you got nothing. In other words, why is it that the technology of the light cycle and the space paranoids and all the rest of it, why does that work? Why is it not that you've just 3D printed a Millennium Falcon that hasn't got hyperdrive? Or is it that if we did 3D print a Millennium Falcon, it would have hyperdrive? You get the point. What's the underlying logic? And we need to have... You can accept anything as long as you know the logic. So is it anything that works in any computer game? Could we print a bloke from Skyrim with the dragon roars, and would he be able to use the dragon roars in the real world? Don't know. But we'll suspend our disbelief on that fourth point of it's just a bit dodge over what the deal is with printing things with technology that we haven't got now. That also relates to the big flying tea bars and pies and whatever you want to call them. If we can 3D print one that's going to fall apart in 29 minutes, why can't we just build some real ones that won't fall apart if the technology works in the real world? But we'll call the computer tech working in the real world. It's a bit of a problem, maybe not as definite as all of the other points. You could argue that fourth one, but the rest of them, there's no argument that the military-industrial complex would be falling over themselves for that stuff for 29-minute kit. And also, people would be falling over themselves, terminally ill people, other people would be giving billions and trillions of dollars to you to get to continue living in the grid instead of dying here. But we'll move along. That was point 4. Now, point 5, Dillinger panicking at the end. I mean, he's allowed to panic, but point 5 is very much changed Justin Dillinger's name to Walter von Braun. Nazi scientist, ran NASA. Oh, the Russians got many of the V2 scientists, so too the Americans, a lot can be forgiven by how much we want your tech. And very much you thought the movie started with a tech demo for that military industrial complex. No. It finished with a tech demonstration for the military industrial complex with Athena and friends giving the demo. It certainly showed just how good and how far in front of our modern fighter jets and the rest of it, just how far in front this stuff that, who cares if it lasts half an hour ago? It shows how brilliant that was in comparison to the military that we have. In a real, true demo with our fighters attempting to take down the Dillinger tech. If you had those 3D printers going full throttle, cranking out things like the space paranoids and the little butterfly fighters, they'd wipe the floor. If you just had that one factory going and just non-stop printing that stuff, they could probably beat NATO. Unless somebody went for the big A button. But it's just full on. That was a big time demo of that tech. And I've got kind of the feeling that much would be forgiven for Mr. Dillinger if he said, right, you got me, things went a bit wrong. However, how would the US of A like this tech? You've seen how good it works. Let's work out the kinks. Let's do a deal. His name might have been changed to Walter von Braun, but he would disappear, but in a good way. Okay. And exactly how much advantage. Imagine if this, because it's set kind of now-ish with our technology, except for the magic laser printers, but they're in the movie, so you imagine you've got them now. Right now, there is a war going on in Eastern Europe. And how much difference would it make to the side that got infinite soldiers and airships and light cycles and those Humvee type deals that they had? No longer would there be any of these arguments on either side about drafting their citizens. Who needs to draft citizens? You've got these. And if you can print a near infinite number of those butterfly fighters, then that there goes you can probably screen 99.99% of drones trying to come the other way if they haven't got this tech. So I think Dillinger would have been forgiven a lot, and Dillinger tech would have just been quietly absorbed into the American military-industrial complex. And the final point 6, the movie ends with the right corporation won the battle and the technology's only being made to make fruit juice. Citrus trees in the desert. You get what I'm saying? They say that it is only being used for these peaceful, such nice uses of the technology. But I might point out that you've already dropped the nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki at this point. There were no nukes, Keith. You've shown the tech. That the genie is out of the bottle. It's not an atomic genie, it's a computer genie. It's out of the bottle. We've seen it. It's attacked a city. It's wiped the floor with fighter jets. It's demonstrated that they last half an hour each, but who cares? You make them when you need them, and you can have as many as you want. What an army. What an air force. And because the right company won, the world's not scrambling for the tech. Think about the start of the Cold War and the rush for the A-bomb technology. The Americans dropped it on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And I think it's less than a year later you get the first Soviet nuclear test. Now, the Soviets didn't do all of the same research that took the Americans that many number of years, and the Oppenheimer movie shows it all. Less than a year. How did that happen? The start of the Cold War. The world scrambled to get that nuclear tech for the A-bomb because the nuclear genie was out of the bottle. I tell you what, this Tron genie, it's been used attacking a modern city and wiping the floor with fighter pilots and jets, and it's just superior. That's out of the bottle. And the guy with his finger on the key, the guy who's running the corporation with the control of all of this, digitises himself running scared because he's worried that he's going to get done. Oh, and morally, sure, bad man, did a lot of bad things. I'm not going to say, I don't know if Walter von Braun did anything particularly bad. I don't know anything in particular about any of those scientists that were from the V2 program, other than the V2 bombs hitting England all the time, the flying bombs. But point being, that tech, it's been demonstrated, it's been shown, they're all going to go flying for it. And I can suspend my disbelief on them letting the tech only from this particular form of computer game and thing in the internet come out and work in the real world. Sure, I can believe that if you ask me to. I can't believe that the world I live in, with the countries I know about, are all going to just make fruit juice with this technology. And it's not going to be another mad Cold War over this tech. Anyway, that's a bit of a step away from my usual videos, but I have always hated a movie where the cowboy swims the river and comes out in dry clothes. If you like more, subscribe, and I value all of your opinions. Comment in the section. So, bye for now.